your head on my shoulder.
Hey guys, it's Mariana and I'm back again with my crooked glasses. Today I want to talk about how I annotate. So I started annotating when I was 16 or 17 years old. The first ever book I annotated was To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, which is my favorite series. And when I first got that book, it was me and my sister shared that book, but it was actually hers. At first, like, she would highlight in one color and I would highlight in a different color. And then we start to do, like, I would highlight like quotes in yellow and like things I could relate to in orange, and then like romantic scenes in pink. It wasn't until I watched Naya Reads and Smiles video where I started to write in my books. I was already used to writing in books at that point because in high school we were always taught to talk to the text, which is basically like, you know, talking to the text. So I remember watching Naya Reads and Smiles video, and she shared this article about why you should annotate, and that's what actually got me into writing in my books. I'm just going to show you guys the materials that I use. But I keep this by my bed, and it keeps everything I use, from art supplies to pens to like what I use, like my tabs, basically like all of my stationery in here. And I keep it by my bed because I like to bullet journal, and I have a reading journal, and I like to draw and like all of that extra stuff. So I just keep it by my bed where it's easier to access. So anyways, I do have the zebra midliner pens, but I don't use them because they're so light and I don't like the way that they look when I highlight. So I typically use those just for my bullet journal and for my reading journal. So I don't use my midliners. So I use these Sharpie highlighters. My sister has more, and so usually I'll use these, which I got. These are different from the Sharpie highlighters. I got these from the dollar store, but I don't like them. So sometimes I'll go to my sister's room, and she has her own jar of stationery, so I'll like take from there if she allows me to. But usually I prefer Sharpie because the ones I got from the dollar store are just not good. And then I also use these tabs, which actually came in a pack like this. I got these on Amazon for $7, and it came in like a pack of like 10 or something. And I got these honestly because of Books with Chloe. I used to use different ones. I don't have them anymore. I threw them away. And they used to be like half of it was like clear, and then the other half was the color. But I didn't really like those. I kind of like these, especially the colors that it comes with. I know that Books with Chloe and Brittany the Bibliophile use them. So you get 5 of these and 5 of these, but I also use these as bookmarks because I'm lazy and don't want to buy actual bookmarks. So, but yeah, you get 5 of these and 5 of these. I know that Brittany the Bibliophile prefers these ones with the pointed ends, but I prefer the square ones for some reason. I don't know why. I don't have a specific tabbing system, but I always tab books that I've already read before, just so when I'm reading I know what I'm looking for. In the Hate You Give, I keep a sticky note in the cover of all like what I use to tab and like what highlighter I use. So I use yellow for quotes, pink for Kristen Star, orange for powerful, green for relatable, and blue for Khalil. I ran out of sticky notes, so at this point I just use paper. But watching Brittany the Bibliophile, I really like how she took the tabs and put them on the inside of her book and then like wrote what each tab was for. I really like that idea, so I think that I'm gonna start doing that when I annotate. The difference between like highlighting and annotating for me, it depends on the book. Like some books I'll highlight and then annotate, so like I'll know what to go back to, and some books I'll highlight and just like go on about my life, and then like if it's a bigger paragraph I'll tab. Like with the Hate You Give, I didn't tab every page that I highlighted. So like there would be some pages where I did if it was like extremely important, but then there'd be other pages where it was like important parts that were like really long, and I didn't want to highlight the whole thing, so I would tab it so I wouldn't have like a highlight through the whole thing. I love to write in my books, and usually when I write in my books, I'll write like I'll just be like talking to the character, or sometimes I'll just write down my opinions or how I feel about the situation that happened. Here I wrote, 7 is a great brother. I wish I had an older brother and that he could be like 7. like I would just write things like that. So I basically just write like my opinions on characters, what I think about the situation, what I think about the paragraph, what I think about basically anything. Or like sometimes it'll just be my sarcasm, like literally there's no limit. I love writing in my books. Is one of my favorite things to do. And another thing that I have annotated is Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda. I do not have this book tab because the first time I read this book was my first read, and I do not like tabbing in books that I read for the first time just because I never know what I'm looking for and I don't want to mess up, which I've messed up before tabbing in a book that I haven't read yet, so I just stopped altogether because it frustrates me. So for Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, I watched the movie, so I kind of knew what I was looking for, but not really. But in the first half of the book, I did not highlight. I just wrote in the book. I didn't highlight anything. And then the last half of the book was like, I was like highlighting and annotating and everything like that. With Simon versus the Homo sapiens, I kept it written down on a piece of paper, which I tend to lose often. Like when I annotated Harry Potter, I lost the paper, so now I don't know what the tabs mean or the highlighters mean. So for pink, it means love. For orange, it means low-key deep or actually deep. Blue is for the character Blue. Yellow is for relatable. And green is for a good/cute moment. So here's a page that I highlighted. That's why I use tabs, because I don't like doing this. Like, I don't like highlighting like a long paragraph. And like, if you look closely, I messed up highlighting. Like, they weren't even on the words all the way. So that's why I like to tab like long parts. I also underline in this book, but I prefer to highlight rather than underline. I don't know why. It's just something that I've always been used to, and I tried to underline, but I just don't like it. Oh, I also doodled in this book. So it was a scene where one of the characters was like, they had a full sentence and they said okay, and so he replied okay, and I really thought of The Faults in Our Stars, so I drew The Faults in Our Stars okay quote thingy. If something confuses me, I'll write a question mark. And basically what I did was I underlined things that I highlighted things that I thought were like really cute and important, and then I underlined things that like had to do with the situation that I thought was cute as well. That's basically it. That is how I annotate and I write in my books. And the reason why I annotate, highlight, and tab is very important for me. It's something that I really like to do when I read, but I only do it for rereads just because I never know what I'm looking for in other stories, and I don't want to mess up, because I did that for Children of Blood and Bone and I really messed up. So yeah, that's why I only annotate rereads. Or sometimes I'll annotate if I watched a movie before the book comes out, which sadly I do often. I'll annotate because I'll kind of know what I'm looking for, but sometimes the books are different from the movie, so I'll kind of like, or I'll tweet like, okay, what are things that I should look for in this book so I can annotate and tab it. And yeah, I've been writing in my own books for a while. The Hate You Give was the first book that I went through and tabbed and like did the whole thing with, and I just really think that it's important and I like it. My favorite book at one point was Looking for Alaska, and I read that book when I was 16, and I decided that it was just like my favorite book ever, and I was so in love with it. So sometimes I'll go back and I'll reread it. It's not my favorite book anymore. Anyway, so sometimes I'll go back and reread it, and I like just seeing the things that I highlighted and like why I highlighted them and what I thought on the characters, or if my opinions would change. My opinion for Looking for Alaska changed a lot actually, and so I kind of like going back and seeing how my opinions change. Or like, I like writing in my own books, and people are like, oh my gosh, like you writing your books, but it's like, it's my book. I bought it with my money. Why shouldn't I be allowed to write in it? It's like I could have a book and like it could just be there, and I could not write it or annotate anything, and it'll just be like a bunch of books on my shelves. But if I annotate the book, then it's kind of like I'm making the book mine. Like I already own it, but it's like writing in the book is like I'm making it mine with my opinions and my thoughts and how I feel on it. So that's why I kind of like to annotate. I never know how to end my videos, so I'm just gonna just gonna stop talking here now. Thank you for watching my videos, and thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for watching.
People say